So this is an Adria Altea 552 DT Tamar. Just going to take you around the van and show you how it operates. In front of the van you've got the jockey wheel, hitch and handbrake. I'll take you through this in person here on site. In the front locker you've got your gas bottle with gas regulator on the bulkhead, and you've got your gas on and off valve on top of the bottle with your gas pipe work going up to the regulator. The fitment itself that goes into the side of the bottle is a reverse thread fitment, so you need to turn it the opposite way to release it to what you normally would, for instance, a bottle of pop. So you turn it the opposite way to release the fitting. On each side of the caravan at the front you've got wind down legs which are underneath there. I'll demonstrate these to you while you're here on site. They're only there for stabilising the caravan. You'd never lift the caravan with the legs as it could potentially damage the floor of the caravan. And you've got your mains power lead coming into the side of the van. Two terminals on top of the battery, 12mm spanner release and tighten those. You've then got your heating and hot water flue on the side of the caravan. You need to remove this cover if you're ever going to run the systems on gas. Do advise that you get in the habit of removing the cover when you arrive on site, just to make your life a little bit easier if you ever need to ignite it. Your water pump connection then that comes into the side or goes into the side of the caravan. The blue trigger will pull back to release it, and it will also need pulling back when you're pushing the pump into the side of the van, and then it will lock into place. The water pump itself drops down inside the acro roll, and I'll show you how to fill the system once we're inside the van. The motor mover will demonstrate while you're here on site, and we'll also torque the wheel nuts while you're here so you can see they've been tightened correctly. The fresh water that goes in the front of the caravan has to come out somewhere, so down the side of the van just here we have two grey waste pipes coming out the side of the van, and they are essentially there to allow your waste water out. So like I said, two bits of grey pipe that go into there and they'll drop down inside your waste master. On the back of the caravan, again you have two wind down legs. So as you can see we've got one down for the purpose of handover, but normally you'd have all four down when you set up on site. So, like I said, they are just there for stabilising, not lifting the caravan. Coming down the side of the van, on the opposite side, you've got your toilet tank with your toilet fill for the flush system. So you put 3.5 litres of water in here, and you can check the level of that on this tube just here. You put 3.5 litres of water in here and a cap full of the pink fluid prior to use. Release the cassette, you've got the green handle at the bottom that you'll pull up. Pull cassette towards you. You've got a neck here that turns out so you can tip your waste away, and the green cap here is a measure for your blue fluid. And on the back of the cassette you've got a green pressure relief button, so when you press that button in and you tip the waste away, it won't spit and splatter back at you. You've then got your two fridge vents, and they are very simply there to allow hot air at the back of the fridge unit and to also take some cool air in. Also behind there is a gas flue, again for when you're running the fridge on gas. At the front of the van you've got a storage locker for accessing underneath the seating area, so you can open that up and you'll be able to put bits and pieces of storage through into the locker area underneath the bed, underneath the seating. Going on to the inside of the caravan, as you come in the door on the right hand side, just next to the sink as you can see here, you'll notice you've got the main control panels for the caravan. So you've got your voltmeter at the top here to tell you what power's in the battery. You've got your master power switch, so you need to have this on so you've got power inside the van. That is regardless of whether you're running 240 or 12 volt, that switch will need to be on. And then you've got your water pump run here. Below that you've got various light switches, and then your heating control at the bottom, which I'll come back to in a moment. The first thing you're going to need to do is fill the water system up. So underneath the seat on the right hand side of the van, you'll see a yellow drain down valve. Now that valve is there for filling or draining the water system down. Now when that valve is parallel with the floor, it will allow you to fill the water system up. If that valve is pointing upright towards the bottom of the seat, all of the water on the system or out the system on board the van will drain straight onto the floor underneath the caravan. So like I said, parallel with the floor prior to filling the system. You'll then come over to every tap on board the caravan. That's the sink in the kitchen, the sink in the bathroom and the shower, and you'll open all the taps up on the hot side of the water system. Once you've done that and your acro rolls connect on the outside, you can turn your water pump on and the system will start filling up. Once the system's full, you'll have water running continuously out of every tap on board the caravan as we have now. You can then shut each tap off once that system is full, and you'll be able to start warming the water on board the caravan. So on the opposite side of the caravan, you've got two switches. At the top here, you've got your 230-volt water heater. So on the top side here, you've got 35 to 40 degrees of water temperature. And if you press the switch downwards, it'll be 50 to 60 degrees of water temperature, depending on what you want it to be set to. Below that, so that's your electric control. Below that, you have your option to run gas. So if the gas bottle's turned on in the front locker, and you bled the gas system by igniting the hob on the other side of the van, you'll be able to run the water system on gas. To ignite the water system on gas, all you need to do is flick the switch up and make sure the cover's removed on the outside. And if you got a green light on one side, then the water system is ignited on gas. As you can see at the on the right hand side, the green light will be. The red light on the left hand side is indicating that the gas system has failed to ignite at the moment, and that is just due to the fact that the gas is not turned on in the front locker. The next thing we go to is the heating for the caravan. Now, when we were on the other side of the van, I mentioned we had a dial for your heating. Now that is your dial for running the heating on electric. Down the side, you'll notice it says 500, 1000 or 2000. Depending on what site you're on, will depend on what heating system or what temperature you run your heating system on, or what power supply. So if you're on a site with 500 watts of power available, you run 500, 1000 and 2000, etc. The best way of finding out what you can run this on is by asking the site office when you arrive on site. You can control the temperature of the heater on electric on this dial in the centre. Obviously, the higher the number is, the hotter the heater will be. If you want to run the heater on gas, you'll need to do that on the controls on top of the heater itself. So on the right hand side of the heater just here, you'll see it's got a dial, a bit like you've got on a barbecue for instance. You'll spin the dial round to number 5, hold down the gas valve, then when it ignites you'll have a pilot light in the front through this little window at the front of the heater. Once that is there, you'll hold down the gas valve for a further 5 to 10 seconds to allow the thermocouple to warm up, then slowly release the gas valve, and you'll be able to control the temperature of the heater on gas on the dial on top. On the left hand side of the heater at the top, you've got a dial for running your blown air heating and also for your fan speed. So around the caravan you'll see little vents around the van. That is where, if you're running blown air heating, the air will come from. So the bottom dial here, you'll see the little white line here moves on the bottom dial. When it's in the centre here, the heat will come out the front of the heater. If you go on to manual, the blown air heating will be a continuous blown air, and again you can control your fan speed on the dial on top. If you go to the A, it's an automatic blown air, so essentially it cuts in and out with the thermostat on board the van, and again you can control the fan speed on the dial on top here. So that is your heating and hot water. The next thing we're going to go through is the fridge system. Now this is very, very simple to use. Press the power button on the left hand side and it will come up with the options. At the moment, as you can see, we're running on mains power, and we can control the temperature of the fridge on the button on the right hand side. The higher these lines go, the colder the fridge will be. We can change the power source by hitting the square on the left hand side, and what it's done now is it's gone to 12 volts from the car you're towing with. As you can see, we're not connected to a car at the moment, hence why the screen is flashing, but if you was connected to a car you could use the fridge as a cool box. Essentially, so when you get on site, the beers and wine are nice and cold. The temperature control on 12 volts won't actually do anything at all, due to the fact it's just a cool box and it's just a preset temperature. To get the fridge to ignite on gas, again you go to the hob, let the gas come through on the hob first, then select the gas option on the fridge. It will self-ignite on gas, and very similar to if you were on the 12 volt mode and it failed to ignite, it would flash the screen and it would also come up with a warning symbol on this side. Press and hold the power button, the fridge will turn back off. Going into the bathroom area, you've got the fold down sink, which obviously you need to have open to bleed the water system, which is what I've already done. That does fold up, out of the way. Then below it, you'll see you've got your toilet itself. You've got your toilet waste handle here, which allows the waste to go into the cassette under the van. If that is open, it will actually stop you from removing the cassette underneath the van. You've got a red warning light here to let you know when the toilet waste cassette is full. And on the bottom here, you've got your toilet flush, which allows you to flush the toilet system when you need to. So that is the Adria Tamar. If you have any further questions on the caravan, please don't hesitate to give us a call here at the Caravan Company or ask them during your handover. We appreciate your business and we look forward to seeing you here on site soon when you collect your caravan. Thank you for now. Bye bye.